welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. If you are new here, my name's Hermione, and on this channel I like to share with you how you can craft your best life. Today I'm doing something I'm so excited about. I've been waiting to do this video since the minute I got the house, and that is sharing my office makeover with you. Now I'm splitting this into two parts because there's loads of DIYs and other things I've been doing in this space, and I wanted to kind of stick to having like a seating area and storage and then a desk area and showing you those in two separate videos. So today is part one and the next one will be part two, where you'll see the entire finished project. So without further ado, let's jump in and I'll show you how I made over the seating area and this bit behind me. Before I jump into the actual makeover, here's a quick reminder of what the room looked like before. It really needed a lot of work doing to it. So the first thing to tackle was the floor. We'd already sanded the floor, we'd painted the walls, as you can see from, I think it's DIY episode number 3, but the floors hadn't been stained. I'd been putting that off for a long time, so I decided it was about time and I had to get them done. I had to split the room into two parts to do this because I had so much furniture.
One half, the other half.
The next day, when the first section of floor was dry, I was able to move all of the furniture from one side of the room to the other. This is such a hassle. I would recommend, if you're staining floors, just take the furniture out. I'm never doing this again. Anyway, I continued and spent a couple of days doing this in small intervals, and then when it was dry, it looked a bit like this. With the flooring done, I had to start working on some of the furniture, so I had storage for all of my craft supplies. This piece was actually left in the house by the previous tenants, and I thought I could definitely do something to upcycle it and make use of it in the new space. I started by sanding the entire surface of the dresser to get rid of any lumps and bumps and to make the paint really smooth. I also removed the handles of the dresser so that I could smooth down the drawer fronts as well. I was wondering why it looks like I don't have any sandpaper on my sander, but it's actually velcroed to the bottom, so don't worry, I am actually sanding. Anyway, once that was done, I was able to paint it. I used a white chalk paint and painted it using a roller. Ideally, I would have used a foam roller, but I couldn't find any foam roller sleeves anywhere, so I had to make do with this fuzzy one. Anyway, moving on, I used a little bit of Zinsser to cover up some stains that were popping through. This stuff is great if you're painting furniture and you have any wood stains or varnish coming through. Once I was done with that, I was able to paint it again, and then I also filled in loads of these creases in the front. They were really deep grooves and the paint was sitting in them really funnily, so I just used some decorator's cork and filled them in a little bit. After giving it a few coats of paint and leaving it to dry for a couple of days, I was ready to add some dresser drawer handles to the piece. These were the ones I picked out for it. They're silver and they were from TK Maxx. To install these, I just drilled through the wood in the places I'd marked previously, as I wasn't using the original holes, and then it was easy to slip the new handles in and screw them tightly together. Once that was done, I decided it was about time to get some privacy in here and replace the curtains. So I found these tufted eyelet panel curtains at the range, and I really like them. I just don't love the eyelet detail at the top, only because scraping the metal rings along a metal rod makes me feel slightly queasy. Anyway, I decided to cut them off, so I cut them with a straight line, and then I threw it through my sewing machine. I just folded it over the top by about 3 inches so I could fit the rod through it, and then just kind of sewed a straight line, and here we are. So I was able to take off the old curtains, which I have now moved to the bathroom, and put these ones up, and I'm really pleased that I did. These are really sheer, so they let a lot of the light in, but they still give the room a bit of privacy. So the next order of business was to put up a shelf so I could display some of my knickknacks. So I just made sure to mark out where I wanted it to go, make sure it was level. I used my pencil to mark the position of the brackets. I drilled holes in the walls. I added raw plugs to the walls so that the screws would have something to hold on to. Once that was done, I just placed the bracket in, screwed it in really nice and tightly to make sure it wasn't going anywhere, and then I repeated this step on the other bracket. And of course, throughout this process, I was using a spirit level to check that the brackets and the shelf was lined up correctly and it wasn't going to be wonky and all of my cute little succulents would then fall on the floor. We don't want that. Of course, with the shelf installed, I had to decorate it, so the first thing I did was take an old photo frame and a piece of scrapbook paper, and I cut the scrapbook paper to size to fit inside the frame. I've done this on my channel so many times now that it's not even funny anymore. It's kind of embarrassing how often I do this, but I really do love using scrapbook paper as an inexpensive way to add a pop of colour and add a print to any room. You'll most likely be able to find some really interesting 12 by 12 scrapbook paper at your local craft store or online, and I think this size makes for the perfect print size. If you want it a bit bigger, you can always do what I'm doing and place it on a piece of backing with an edge around it or put a mat around it. This will help you fill a larger frame so it looks like a bigger piece than it is. Anyway, once that was all done, I just put the backing back into the photo frame and pushed all the pins back, and this is how it turned out. Once I was done, I used it as the focal point of the shelf, so I put it right in the middle and put the decor pieces around it. I added a succulent, a pineapple from Poundland, some reed diffuser sticks, and a Polaroid of my friend Keely and I. This is how it looks all together. In hindsight, the shelf is a little too small, so I will fix that in the future and put a bigger one up, but for now it's fine. So let's move on to the seating arrangement. Before adding the couch, I decided to lay down this rug. This is originally from IKEA. It was in my bedroom, but it was taken up by the bed, so I decided to move it into here. And then I was able to dress this cane bench. For this, I laid a few blankets on top of the piece because it wasn't very comfortable, so this helped it feel a little bit more squishy and soft. I also added some cushions as well to decorate it a bit. I will do a DIY with this bench at a later date, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I've got too many projects on. But for the moment, it's fine as it is and it serves its purpose. Next to the bench, I added this standing lamp. I think this is from IKEA a long time ago, or John Lewis. I also added this IKEA shade. I put this in this corner just to give it a bit more of a cozy ambience in the evening time, and I think it does the job. Next up, my bench needed a coffee table, so this is the one I DIY'd. This needs work, so I'm going to take the opportunity to paint it pink. As you can see, my poor little table didn't do very well during the renovation process, so I had to clean it first. The tabletop's clean, and now I'm just going to give it a gentle sand because it's got some little blemishes in it, and then it will be nice and smooth. I used a light grit sandpaper to do this. This also kind of buffed away the top layer of the paint that I'd previously painted it. And now it was time for a nice coat of pink. You guys know I really like pink, so I couldn't not paint something in this room pink. I ended up using a foam roller and just rolled it on. It only needed one coat, and then it was done and ready to style. So I just added a couple of notebooks to the top of it and a pink and orange candle from IKEA. This is how it turned out. And lastly, I just wanted to do a little bit of styling to make the room feel finished, on this side anyway. So I started by hanging this round mirror. This was £4 in the charity shop. This was a lot more difficult than it looked because the nail did not want to catch onto the hook at the back. I was struggling a little bit here, but I finally got it up and I finally got it centered and it's not fallen down yet, so we're good. I'm also cutting up some more scrapbook paper, surprise surprise, and I'm just putting it in a smaller frame to add to the top of the sideboard. I styled this with just a plain lamp that I thought matched the handles of the dresser really nicely, the picture frame, a little pot from Anthropology, a large cactus in a pot from TK Maxx, the Alexa Chung book, I found this in a charity shop, and a candle from IKEA. I think it turned together really nicely and it definitely fits with the pink theme of this room. I felt that there was a little something missing next to the sofa, so I decided to frame an art piece, and to do this I'm just framing a piece of wrapping paper instead of scrapbook paper because I'm branching out here, you guys.
Don't close them all, make sure it looks good first. It's gonna be all crinkly, then you have to do all those up again.
That's fine.
Ben has a lot of faith in me, as you can see, but it wasn't crinkly at all, so it was perfect and ready to go up on the wall.
She didn't even measure if it was centered.
I did measure it. It's just a bit wonky. There we go. So with all of that being done, this is the final reveal of this one half of the office.
So that is everything for today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and that little notification bell if you haven't done so already, because part 2 will be coming up very, very soon, where I can show you the desk area, and I'm really excited because I think it's my favourite part of this whole room. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye.